picking up the check. And this is what she goes and says. Take a listen. I think this is the right clip.
Nice.
That's crazy because
She's
like
epic. She has to.
Whatever.
She's on that till 2029. 2029.
Yeah,
Aren't
no,
you
that's
with
what
the
I'm
Fever till
saying.
2029?
Hey, I love playing with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm only signed till
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
well next year.
Don't worry
too.
about that. We'll figure that out.
Unless I sign my epic.
Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel because Caitlin Clark just made one little joke about not signing a Supermax extension, and hold up, the entire internet instantly started running wild with theories about her leaving the Indiana Fever. But listen to this, what almost everybody online is missing right now is that whether she signs that Supermax deal or not actually has nothing to do with where she'll be playing basketball through 2029. And man, that's not even an opinion or some fan theory, because that's literally how the WNBA contract system is structured.
Time Aaliyah signed that contract. 2029 is the last year the team has any control over Caitlin Clark. By Aaliyah, they have control over Aaliyah till 2028. So even if Caitlin doesn't sign the Epic, even if Caitlin does not sign the Epic deal, basically, the Indiana Fever have full control over Caitlin Clark's destiny anyway. Because let's just say she doesn't sign the Epic deal. Her 4th-year option is next year. She's getting paid whatever, $600K next year. And then she becomes a restricted free agent where they have the ability to match any offer for her, or they can use the core tag. They can use the core tag on her for 2 years and give her obviously whatever she wants.
Now let's really break down what the Indiana Fever actually controls here, because listen to this. This is the part where all the internet panic completely starts falling apart. Caitlin Clark is still under team control for the entirety of her rookie contract situation. Next season in 2025, she's expected to make around $76,000 on that 4th-year option. And hold up, Indiana is obviously going to pick that option up automatically without even thinking twice about it. So there's really zero drama attached to that part of the conversation. Then, once 2026 arrives, Caitlin becomes a restricted free agent, which means if another franchise throws a massive offer at her, Indiana still has the power to match that contract and keep her. But man, here's the part most people online either don't understand or are completely ignoring right now. Even if the Fever decided they didn't want to match another team's offer, they still controlled the situation because of the WNBA's core designation rule. The league allows teams to use that core tag on a player for 2 straight seasons while paying them the Supermax salary and still retaining full rights to them. And another important detail people keep missing is that players can't be cored once they've reached 6 years in the league. So realistically, Indiana could core Caitlin in both 2026 and 2027, which would already push this entire timeline forward into 2028. That would then line up with the start of her 7th season, making her finally ineligible for another core designation at that point. But by the time all of that happens, we're already sitting in 2028 anyway, and one more year immediately takes the timeline straight into 2029. So when people keep freaking out over whether she signs a Supermax extension or not, they're missing the bigger picture, because the Fever basically controls where Caitlin Clark plays until 2029, regardless of what gets signed publicly.
Aaliyah Boston signed that long-term deal for 2029. The odds of Caitlin Clark, by her choice, leaving the Indiana Fever, as in walking for nothing, pre-2029 is 0. Like, it is, the odds of that are 0. The Indiana Fever have the right to negotiate. Is there a world, again, is there a world, like if you've looked at all the ins and outs, whether it be Kareem Christmas Kelly or Austin Kelly, Stephanie White, Kelly Krauskopf, Lynn Dunn, they've all been like, Breanne January, they've all been intertwined for the guts of 20 years. So I think the entire Fever front office and coaching staff.
When you really look at the timeline involving Aaliyah Boston, you start realizing this whole thing feels way more strategic than people think. Aaliyah just signed that Supermax extension running through 2029, and listen to this, that absolutely does not look accidental from the Indiana Fever front office. Indiana already controls Aaliyah through 2028 because of her contract structure, and at the same time, they control Caitlin Clark through 2029 thanks to the combination of team options, restricted free agency rights, and the core designation rule. So what the organization has basically done is line up both of their franchise cornerstones on the same long-term timeline. And man, that feels like a very calculated move from the front office when you really think about it. They clearly understand that 2029 is the year everything changes, because that's when both players could realistically walk away as unrestricted free agents if they decide Indiana is no longer the place for them. That means the Fever now has a full 5-year window to convince both Caitlin and Aaliyah that Indiana is where they should spend the prime years of their careers. Not just 3 seasons where you're still figuring things out, not 4 years with constant roster questions and instability hanging around the team. A full 5-year opportunity to build a legitimate championship contender around both of them before those real free agency decisions finally arrive.
Back in the day, if a player requested a trade, it was automatic. It was an automatic thing. If a player requested a trade, you had to trade them. And you basically had to trade them to where they want to go, and like whatever you got back, you got back. But now these NBA organizations are like, no, you're under contract. We are not trading you. We are not trading you. And that's basically what it's going to come down to. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Caitlin Clark's not going to sign her epic deal. There is a chance Caitlin Clark doesn't sign her epic deal. There is. If Caitlin Clark does not sign her epic deal, the reason why she isn't signing her epic deal is because the Indiana Fever either want to keep Kelsey Mitchell or bring in a new max contract player next year. And don't get it twisted. Like, there is always the possibility of Jackie Young. And I know people are like, oh, she'll never leave the Aces. She signed a 1-year deal. Every age.
Where the old WNBA mindset would have completely folded under pressure. 10 years ago, if a superstar wanted out and demanded a trade, most teams pretty much felt forced to grant it immediately. You basically shipped the player wherever they wanted to go and just prayed you got decent value back in return. Back then, it was almost automatic. The player says jump, and the organization instantly asks how high. But hold up, the league has evolved a lot since those days. Front offices watched everything happen in the NBA with player empowerment and started learning from those situations instead of repeating the same mistakes. So now, if Caitlin Clark walked into the Indiana Fever offices tomorrow demanding out, listen to this. Indiana could simply tell her she's still under contract and they aren't trading her. And honestly, that would probably be the end of the conversation right there. Now, could things ever get so toxic behind the scenes that the Fever eventually decides to move her anyway? Technically, yes, but man, if that ever happened, it would absolutely be on Indiana's terms and not anybody else's. The Fever would demand a massive haul in return, probably multiple first-round picks along with established players ready to contribute immediately. And on top of all that, they'd still have Aaliyah Boston locked into their plans through 2029 as well. So this idea floating around online that Caitlin could just force her way out for nothing really doesn't line up with how the WNBA system actually works. The Fever are not some completely dysfunctional franchise at the bottom of the league, and even if they were, the structure of the WNBA is specifically designed to protect teams from losing generational players that easily.
Or like to bring Kelsey Mitchell back, but there's a world where, sure, there is a world where that happens. Look, that being said, you've now got we now got fans thinking of Caitlin being like, oh, if I sign my epic deal, as in like, oh, she might sign the epic deal and leave. There is no chance of that happening. There's absolutely no chance. If she does not sign her epic deal, it's to leave money on the table for other things. Because even if she doesn't sign the epic deal, the only difference is that she's going to make less money next year, and then they're going to keep her under team control via the core. Like, they're gonna.
If Caitlin Clark decided not to sign the Supermax extension, why would she even do that in the first place? Honestly, there's really only one explanation that makes logical sense here, and that's roster flexibility for the Indiana Fever. The Supermax eats up a huge percentage of the salary cap, and listen to this, that money directly affects what Indiana can do around Caitlin moving forward. If she wants the Fever to re-sign Kelsey Mitchell or create enough space to chase another major free agent like Jackie Young, turning down the Supermax could open the financial room necessary to actually make those moves happen. And man, before people instantly laugh off the Jackie Young possibility, remember, she only signed a one-year deal with the Las Vegas Aces. Meanwhile, Aja Wilson is locked into a 4-year extension, Kelsey Plum signed for 3 years, and Chelsea Gray is also secured long-term for 3 seasons. That means the Aces are eventually going to run into major salary cap pressure because there's simply not enough room to keep handing out Supermax-level money forever. So could Jackie Young eventually look over at Indiana, see Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston already in place, and decide that situation gives her a better long-term opportunity? The chances may not be super high, but listen to this, they're definitely not zero either. And if Caitlin does end up declining the Supermax, that move would actually scream team-first mentality more than anything else. That would basically be her saying she's willing to sacrifice some money short-term so Indiana has more flexibility to build a stronger championship roster around her. And honestly, that's the complete opposite of somebody secretly planning to leave the franchise.
And said a joke about signing an epic deal. Even if she doesn't sign it, it's irrelevant. I'm going to be real. Even if she does not sign an epic deal, it is absolutely irrelevant to the outcome of whether or not Caitlin's on the Fever. Aaliyah signed till 29, more than likely, because 2029 is when Caitlin Clark can go. It is probably a situation where they're going to give it till 2029, the two of them together, and then they both become unrestricted free agents that year. And the two of them are going to be like, okay, we're either going to stay or we're both gone. And that is it. That is the window. The Indiana Fever have until 2029 to win both of these players. Or at least show they're a serious organization, because if they don't, they're going to walk. Or, on the other hand,
because man, if 2029 arrives and the Fever still haven't made meaningful playoff runs, still haven't surrounded Caitlin and Aaliyah with championship-level pieces, and still haven't shown competence from ownership to the front office, then yes, both players could absolutely leave. They could even coordinate together and join another franchise in a bigger market if they believe another situation gives them a better chance to win titles. But hold up. People are reacting like this decision is happening tomorrow when 5 years in professional sports is basically forever. The Fever has already started making major organizational changes too. They moved on from Christy Sides and brought in Stephanie White, who not only has Indiana connections, but also a strong reputation for success. The organization has clearly committed itself to building around Caitlin and Aaliyah as the future of the franchise. And trust me, the front office understands exactly how much pressure is attached to this timeline and what's at stake if they fail. The real issue, honestly, isn't whether Caitlyn's is leaving right now, because listen to this, she realistically can't leave even if she wanted to at this point. The real question is whether the Fever can create something meaningful enough by 2029 that both Caitlin and Aaliyah actually want to stay long-term. That's the pressure hanging over the organization every single season moving forward. That's the timeline fans should actually be paying attention to instead of overreacting to every little headline. And honestly, that's why the Supermax conversation, while interesting for debate and social media, is still more of a side story than the main event. Caitlin Clark is almost certainly going to remain in a Fever jersey through at least 2028 and probably through 2029 as well. What happens after that depends entirely on what Indiana does with the years and opportunities they've been given to build around her. So when you hear that podcast clip and see Caitlin joking around about the Supermax extension, don't instantly panic and assume it means she's preparing to leave Indiana. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.